Now, call to order the Conservation Commission meeting. We have quorum present tonight. And I'll go ahead and throw some speakers on. I'm Andy Fulton, the chair. To my left, we got Steve, who's the vice chair, and to his left, Mike, who is the secretary. To my right, we got Mark and Zuzu. And we do not have Sherry, Ray, or Phil tonight. And as we have guests present, we'll go ahead and take and hear what we might be able to do for you guys first. So, Sarah, you're up. If you could just, Mike, did you grab that mic up there too? Yeah, it's so formal, but it's really it's.
All right.
With a formal edge on it, we're pretty casual.
Okay, don't mind me
How can
turning
we help
red.
you?
Hey,
that's
so we're new to town. We just moved here a couple weeks ago, and we're on Russell Drive over on the lake.
Mhm.
And my husband has a fishing boat, wants to put in a boat lift. So I've been trying to decipher the DES wetlands permit by notification system. I've got the whole application filled out, but I noticed that if Conservation Commission signs, it speeds up the process, cutting it from 10 days for them to approve it to 10 days from 25 days. So I wanted to ask if you guys had any
We are capable of
thoughts
it.
on that, or?
It's not something that I've run into before.
Right,
I think I mentioned on the email.
Right.
But we'll be glad to look at the forms and
okay,
anybody just weigh in with any thoughts you might have.
it's on.
As a permit by notification, it's supposed to be pretty easy, so hopefully it hasn't.
Okay, so this is the whole thing, it's on page 5, section 11 is the Conservation Commission's signature. I wrote the town clerk video.
You know,
Yet.
that's a good idea. Zuzu, could you go grab the mail?
Yeah, I actually don't know where the mail comes from.
All right. Turn left to the door.
Yeah,
Left back against the wall, there's a bunch of cubbies, and look for the one that says conservation.
all right.
So, pass the copier.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Permit by notification is what's the maximum impact?
Other end.
Well, it's under what,
Under the, I would guess it'd be under the minimum expedited.
but what is that amount of impact?
This is just for, it's not even, I mean, it's just to put a stand in the water,
Uh-huh,
so I don't think that's an area thing.
Yeah, it's on wheels, it's just seasonal,
yeah.
to roll in and roll out, but there is, I added to the application, there is a legal permanent dock structure there from the first owners. It needs some stabilizing underneath it, cause it's sagging, so we weren't gonna tackle that till the water's low in the winter next year. But I included that in the same application. There's some legs that are floating above the rocks that they used to be sitting on.
to peruse.
171?
I saw that number on I think the tax card, and I assumed it was the lat and longitude.
71.
Oh, they had a slash there. That
Oh, they
first
did?
number,
Oh,
it's a
slash.
printed
Oh.
slash, yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. I was gonna say 171. Yeah, that looks like a good number.
I'll bring us back with
171.
The slash was in an odd spot. I didn't know how they wanted me to write it, so I just went to the right of it.
Sarah, I didn't notice, is there a walkway of some sort from the bank to the,
Yes,
To the boat lift?
the lawn goes down, and then we're gonna have to roll it over some rocks and boulders that are at the shoreline. But then past that, there's I haven't been in the water yet. It looks mucky, but I think a flat enough area to sit the wheels on.
and that just allows you to pop it up out of the water when you're
Yeah,
not
so
using
once
it?
you get it in place, then the wheels pop up and flat, it's like a stainless steel,
Like of some sort.
18 by 12, 4 of those drop down and sit there.
Mhm.
And then when you take it out, you lower the wheels and then roll it again.
Hope it's not too much muck. That could be a battle, I imagine.
We'll see.
After the season.
I sent my kids in, but they didn't report accurately, so I haven't gone in to test it yet.
What kid really, well,
I don't
some
know.
kids really like playing in the muck, but not if you're swimming. Yeah.
I don't know, do you know how the lake is generally around the shore, if it's rocky, shale, sandy, in other areas? I don't
Most of it's pretty sandy
know. Okay,
with the, I mean, you'd be probably in the drawdown zone, so shouldn't be too bad. Have you seen pictures of it at drawdown? That'd be a little different for you.
is that in, like, December? We went to see the house the first time in
Probably-
December, and it was pretty low. That's when we
Probably
noticed the dock was.
Starts in early November, might
Okay.
be October, late October.
Alright, so I might have.
Mhm.
That's why we knew the dock needed help, because we
Right.
could see it floating above the
Right,
rocks.
And folks who are looking to do waterfront structure repairs wanna do that
That's the time to do it.
after drawdown or in the spring.
Perfect.
Or late winter before it gets brought back up.
Okay.
So I think this copy is missing the natural heritage data check.
Looks like it has all the elements of the minimum expedited.
Oh, let's check right there. I'm saying that's not attached. It'll get bounced back.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Are you,
Did I
could you
check
just,
something that I didn't include?
well, there's a checkbox and usually there's a data sheet, a one pager that's included with the
So-
package. Unless you were
I
told something
Tried
different.
to so I logged into, what's the terminology there?
Natural heritage data check tool?
So I logged in, I made an account, and then it was just blank, there was nothing there, like no records. So I just ignored it, cause it didn't even show anything. I'm not sure if I was,
I think
You
you
gotta put you gotta pinpoint where it is for it to come up.
and then print it off.
okay,
That's a
If,
tough,
if it's not lining up quite right for you, give the folks over at DS a call during the
To
day if you can.
find,
Somebody will,
okay, cause,
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll
nothing
walk you
showed up,
through
maybe
that.
I didn't,
right, but that will toss
In-
it back.
Yeah.
because I have that checked and it's not.
Well,
But you have to
you
have-
have
Oh,
to
you have to have it
that.
anyway? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Um,
so if it's the will of the commission to expedite this with our signature, or at least add our signature so it has that chance.
Yep.
Sure.
We need a motion on that.
So I mean, I'd like to say for discussion's sake that I'd be more inclined, to motion that we authorize you to sign it contingent on, the data check form being attached to it with a negative result in that area. 'Cause
Sounds
we're
like a
gonna jump-
motion.
Huh?
Sounds like a motion,
Well, I mean,
and then I'll second that,
yeah,
and then Sarah, you and I just have to
Emailed it?
coordinate.
To you? Find it.
Probably.
I mean, you could just, does this one have to go to the town clerk or no?
She's the one who's already signed and made the
that's right.
copies, yeah, she's all set with it.
Um, Yeah, I mean, if you just figure out how to get it, get each other connected.
Email would work.
Okay.
So, and you have my direct email.
Yep, so if I can't figure it out, I'll call DES in the morning, cause I have
Yeah,
a
just as far as
contact there
having-
now,
yeah,
how to
I
access
know.
it.
That's Fishing Game, the data check tool,
Oh, okay,
yeah. Or Natural Heritage, sorry. It's not
Natural Heritage.
Natural Heritage.
The thing is, you gotta pinpoint the spot, and then it blows it up. And then
Okay.
you identify the area,
okay,
and then it'll do the check to see if there's any endangered species and
Right.
plants.
oh, okay,
Right.
But when it's blank, is you haven't identified the spot,
okay,
cause I know I've been hung up with that before.
yep, alright, I'll work on that in the morning.
Alright, so I guess we motion in a second.
Right, so. Steve made the motion. Philip second. To authorize the chair to sign it. Sign the PBN for, is it called a boat lift?
Mm-hmm.
And what number, Russell Drive?
228,
It's in dock repair too.
Boat lift and dock repair. 228?
mm-hmm,
228. Contingent upon New Hampshire National Heritage.
Natural Heritage.
I know.
Natural Heritage.
Yep, natural.
Yeah,
Yeah, check.
not national.
Natural, yes.
It could be natural.
Okay, any other thoughts on this for Sarah? Saying none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Sounds like all in favor.
Thank you.
All right, that should keep you moving, Sarah.
Okay.
I guess get that back and we'll keep.
Did you sign it, or you are signing it after I email you?
Right, you'll share the data sheet that says all's clear, and as long as it says all's clear, which it should, and, you'll email that to me with the, page that needs my signature.
Okay.
I'll do a digital signature and get it back to you.
I got on.
Thank you. All right. Come on up, Steve.
Yeah, so, I'm Steve Anderson.
Have you dropped by here before?
I came to a selectman meeting once, that was it.
Okay.
So I came to ask tonight, I was looking to bear hunt this fall on Conservation Commission land, over by the high school. I wanted to place a bear bait on the land, so I was looking to see if, like, what that might entail. I have, bear bait applications from the state. I went to Fish and Game, printed them out, and I have a topographical map with 2 sites that I've submitted, so, see what that might look like. The way the bait applications work, you would normally just submit, with the landowner's signature and a description of where it is. And also the state does like a lottery for state-owned land and state-managed land, which this is kind of in between, right, cause it's town land, not state land or private land. So, I was hoping you guys could make the determination if it's possible.
Right, as town-owned land, I think on one of these, we've taken care of it, on one of them, the selectmen took care of it.
Okay.
I think you're in an appropriate place to talk about it, for sure. Do you have a topo printout that you can share with us?
Yes. So that's directly across from the high school on Grace Drive. So that road that shows it like loops up around is called Brook Road, which really is like, I wouldn't say it exists. You go down it, there's down trees, it's washed out, it's not passable. There's no houses or anything else right there.
Move that around. It's actually on the west side of 114, so across 114 from the high school.
Yep.
Just behind my neighborhood. So I know it well. No. One of them, one of the requested or possible sites, is a wetland that was forfeited by tax non-payment, and we went through town meeting to designate it conservation. This one here. The other one, we purchased.
Oh, so it's the north side of your property. where
Yeah.
you live, your neighbor.
Right, this lot down here is mine.
Okay.
How do you know the area?
My parents live on Grace Drive.
Which lot?
They're number 8.
So they're neighbors behind my neighbors across the street. Cool. All right, so everybody has a sense where Steve is interested in, based on what he's showing here, those both confirm as town-owned conservation properties.
I have the tax lot numbers listed there too, if any
Yeah.
interest.
So conceptually, it's something we've done before, we're generally comfortable with as a commission. I think I've seen a little bit about, and Steve probably knows a fair bit about how New Hampshire Fish and Game regulates it. So we don't do anything with that other than, you know, affirm that we expect it to be legitimately set up and monitored and maintained
Yep.
for fish
Yeah.
and game rule.
I don't wanna do anything wrong and I'm trying to do the right thing, you know?
Yeah,
I can
and
still
with-
get in trouble, right? Just like I follow all the hunting regulations, like, don't want any part of that. I'd look at this like you'd be a landowner, right? I'm asking permission.
Right.
Any of the legality falls on me.
How would you get the bait in there?
Just in a 5-gallon bucket, just carry it in.
Oh,
What are you
Yeah.
using, apples, what are you using?
Like trail mix, peanuts. You're not allowed to use chocolate now, so that's kinda changed everything around. Yeah, it's wild, huh?
Go in with something like we'd all do if we're hiking in bear country. So, trail mix, yeah, I mean, I chuckled years ago, hiking in the Adirondacks and, yeah, living on Gorp and, we did make sure the bear bags were pretty high, unfortunately none of them bothered us. And, certainly with, folks in the area, we, you know that we got bear around, so for
Mhm.
sure on that. I've had them through my backyard. Actually, I lost a couple chickens to a bear once before I smartened up a little bit. Had actually a bear came up to my house, took bites out of the lattice work on my screen porch where I had some rabbits. So,
It's crazy.
yeah.
Right in the front yard, they put bird feeders down in the front yard.
Yeah.
Late spring, they should have been not coming out of hibernation, but,
Hungry.
yeah, they were hungry.
Had one wander through my backyard beyond my sheep, and I was in the garden at the time. I was not 20 yards away, and I think he finally smelled me, and he's like, the bear. I just got the sense the bear was like, if I don't look his way, maybe I can just sneak through.
He won't see me.
He won't see me.
I don't see him, you can't see me.
That's the way it was acting. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I dropped my stuff and run back to my shed and grab trash can covers and
Yeah.
run back and make a bunch of noise. But it had made its way up off and into the wet. But they are about. Apparently doing a better job hanging about than the moose are.
So do we need, he needs a permit signed by you?
I think fundamentally it's a landowner permission signature. And that's all that it amounts to from us.
But a signature on a specific form, or?
Yep.
Okay,
The permit to bait wildlife, so you specify like looking to bait bear, and then it has the location, the coordinates, and you guys can sign it and add any stipulations.
Who's our CO now? Still Chris?
I think Kevin covers this area.
Kevin Bronson.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that COs are pretty good about checking when they are filed. And then when baited, or established, you working out of a tree stand?
I haven't determined that yet. I was most likely, which should be town-owned land, so you can just put it up as long as it has your name and address on it.
Obviously, take it down.
Yeah.
See.
Yep, it's not like you don't screw anything in, it's just lean it up to the tree. I think the same for game cameras too. Technically, what do they call it, municipality land?
Yeah,
You just need to have your name and address on it.
Is that something that you're include on a site, figure or?
Yeah,
also
typically.
For game cameras, so, again, the COs can easily check out and make sure that cameras are used when cameras can be used, and
Yep.
there's some rule on that, isn't there, Steve?
I think you're not supposed to look at the camera after 24 hours from shooting.
Yep.
And that is, like just about everywhere in this part of New Hampshire, not too far from residences, and, just curious whether, what you'd be hunting with, what your thoughts or plans are that, with that.
As far as a weapon, you mean?
Yeah.
Crossbow or maybe a handgun?
And just educate myself, the standard hunting rifles, shotguns, or regular bow often used for taking bear, or is that, less common in these parts, or do you have any idea?
Yeah, any of those are legal. I would have to double check on the rifle. I don't know I know there's some parts of the state where you can't have a rifle, it's like shotgun only.
Okay, where you're all set, you can use whatever you want.
Okay, yeah. I've bear hunted a lot, but I've always gone to Maine. I've never tried to do it in New Hampshire.
Alright, I'm gonna make a motion to sign and just look for it.
Looking for it, so thanks.
Second.
Alright, so we got a motion from Steve, seconded by Mark, to authorize the chair to sign, in the landowner place on the, fish and game permit for bear bait. That kinda sum it up?
Yep.
Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, just make sure the form's complete before you sign it. You got it?
Yeah, I have both of them. So there's one for each location.
One thing I'm really seeing this in their road,
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, like, is that, I could put down like Brook Road, as long as you have, coordinates, I think that's what they're looking for.
So that's like the Brook Road extension,
Yeah, that's,
unfinished, or something
Right.
to that effect, yeah.
it's really not even there, so it's like,
Paper Road, there you go, that's the term.
alright, so there's nothing there. Yeah, looks good to me.
So I don't see on these permits where you've done like a 1 or a 2 designation to correlate for them.
yeah, so
Or is that
this,
something you're not supposed to do, or?
so it's kind of, this is a little bit in between, right? So to submit a state bear bait, you'd have to include 2 map copies with 2 copies of each one of those. So you'd submit them separately. So technically, as this is not state land, I would only need to send the form for
Okay.
each of those. I don't need to include maps, but it helps if you do, so.
Right.
Then I would have 2 more maps, obviously I'll send in with 1 location per, with each site application.
Yeah, maps are great, and those are good representative ones that you pulled there, so I would highly recommend you do that. That sounds good. Alright, any other thoughts on these? Alright, we got a motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Is anybody abstaining or opposed? Alright, all in favor. would just like to make copies of these for our records. I'm just gonna do that before we send Steve on his way. You can complete this with the town general number
Okay.
and the address, town office address.
Yep.
Yours?
Awesome.
Oh, I'll show you one more thing. I'm placing this lot down here as a sort of dogleg to it,
Oh, okay.
so know it well and wish you luck.
Yeah, cool.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we bump into the minutes now, and I just want to say thanks everybody for keeping the meetings going while I was dealing with illness and then death and then sorting out some of the pieces of my mother-in-law's passing earlier this year. So did see a little bit of a replay, and you guys look good here, so appreciate you keeping the business going and doing what needs to be done. The commission's not a, never has been, but it's certainly not a one-person show. Thank you. I looked at the minutes. Is anybody prepared to approve those? If not, we'll hold them, but they look pretty good to me.
I didn't see anything.
Now, is that the only one we need to approve? I thought we possibly had to approve March's as well. Did we already approve March?
It just said the only one was the ninth.
Okay. I know that's what the agenda says. I don't know that we ever approved March's.
That's a good point.
I know that I think we pushed
I don't see it in the minutes. It says review of meeting minutes was tabled, so if anybody has those and wants to, make motion on those two. I think I did look at them and I don't recall finding anything that
So which one, March?
needed to be changed.
April looked good.
Make a motion, we approve April 9th minutes as posted.
I'll second.
Any other thoughts on the April ones? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All in favor? You find the March ones there, Steve?
I have some, a correction for the March minutes, if that's what we're,
That's what we're entertaining presently.
alright. So, line 105, Barden property, Barden, twice. And then, line 107, Rayla may discuss plans to clean up cinder blocks and seal off a well at the Barden property, not at an unspecified property. And, oh, and also 108, Sono tubes. S-O-N-O, not Sono tubes.
What was the line reference on the first one, Suzu?
105.
And that line 56. Changing horse to horse probably. For a property in the Horace Lake area, change to Horace.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on those? If not, you guys are ready, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve the March 12th, 2025
Yes.
minutes, draft minutes. As amended.
Second that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor, thank you. All right, I did not, come upon any DES, Wetlands Bureau email. And we did have, one letter that I will mention now, so I don't forget it. That was from New Hampshire Turtle Rescue in Nottingham with contact information saying if you encounter or know of anybody, who runs across a distressed turtle, they'd be happy to be notified as they are a, what's the word here? I'm not finding it right. Certified? No. President, New Hampshire, this is Drew Stevens. Only facility in New Hampshire licensed to care for the 4 state-listed turtle species, landing, spotted, wood, and eastern lots.
So they're like an animal rehabilitation, okay. Wildlife.
New Hampshire Turtle Rescue, imagine that, specializes in turtles. So car strikes, dog attacks, lawnmowers, fish hook, stuck fish hooks. Let them know and they can do their work.
Good to know.
All right, jumping down to land management. The proposed change with the Duck Pond subdivision, from bridge to culvert. Our attorney has reached out to the owner. Owner sent back a little bit of information, or at least requested that their consultant send back some information, and I haven't seen anything more. So that one is in process, stay tuned. Yeah.
We're gonna make it clear to Attorney Whitley that the property is not monumented. And until the property is monumented, they can't for sure verify that they're not going to impact our property. So they should have to monument that whole thing before we change anything or let them even consider it.
Yeah.
And the attorney had the email or the contact from the attorney was just a request for information, or what did he say, I guess?
Yeah, the attorney essentially said, we've identified and researched the easement conditions. How is your proposed change in compliance with the easement conditions? And the only little bit was that came back was the owner saying, well, it's just a little bit of an impact. And then asked the consultant to provide more information. That's what's come to us, or to me as conservation chair. I don't know if anything else has come to the planning board or anybody else in town. So hopefully that is, that's a catch, and we are supported by hopefully the town administrator and the planning board and the board of selectmen. I guess the first comment was, from the owner was, well, the selectmen signed. And we've, somewhat anticipated that and tried to move beyond that, because they did apparently sign something for the wetlands permit as landowners, but our attorney pointed out that there are other points that need to be addressed in our attorney's opinion.
Okay.
Another different concern over there is with the water coming out of Duck Pond, and Steve, you had some ideas on that?
Yeah, so, this has been a previous concern that was in front of us before. The, members of the Brown family were in here, a year or two ago. And, Public Works was supposed to put a pond leveler in there. That never happened. they pulled the beaver dam probably 3-4 weeks ago, and it like, just completely pulled it, and it flooded across the street that goes into the post office there.
So that's what resulted in some repair work needing to be done there.
Yeah, so, and they've been down there pulling that apart pretty regularly, so, like I mentioned before, this time took it a little further. Instead of relying on Public Works to put in the pond leveler, it just happened to, be meeting with, the guys from USDA APHIS today, formerly Wildlife Services, and so David Alaban and Nick Sia took the long way back to Concord for a meeting with me, and looked at it, came up with an estimate of $2,074.87 to put a pond leveler in there. He said Nick said there's room for them to potentially block it off in front of the outflow. He thinks it would work fine, depending on how far they want the water dropped. They said they can also trap in there if we wanted to. Some of the pond is owned by MBAC and some of it's owned by us. So what I would suggest is, instead of having this, Public Works out there pulling the dam every however frequently they're doing, it's just to create a simple agreement with APHIS and let them do the work. So we could just have a leveler put in there, or we could ask them to do some trapping too. It's kinda up to everybody's purview on that. But it's just, they never got around to it. Supposedly they bought the materials, nothing that we really came of it.
They put some stone in there.
Yeah, that was an illegal fill. I don't know what the theory was on that. So looking at the tax map, it's like 114, the shoulder goes right over to, or it looks like the state ownership, just based on the tax map, goes to the outlet. And then beyond the outlet's MBAC, then we're on the other side of it. So I don't know if they'll,
So the outlet side of the pond's part of that commercial lot that they have along 114,
yeah,
and the residential part that was transferred to us is somewhere back.
On the far side.
Well, the land's on the far side, but somewhere middle of the pond or along the pond is ownership. But
yeah. I mean, so they could trap our side of the pond. I think where the leveler is going, at least the beaver dam itself is in that 114 ownership. So that's probably DOT and yeah, I don't know if MBAC is gonna have any problem with the pipe going out into their property. I mean, can have them get in touch with them. So I'd suggest throwing up to $3,000 at USDA APHIS to put in a pond leveler and to conduct some trapping. Utilizing the conservation account.
Why is that? Actually, all right, Steve made motion. Do we have a second on the motion?
I'll second that motion.
All right,
Does
so
that
we
should
got a
take care
motion
of
and
the
a second.
problem
Go
that's-
ahead with discussion.
Well, take care of a problem that's going on for at least 4 years now.
From going on.
Well, but I mean, you have a real problem the last 4 years. So, let's see if we can get it fixed now.
Yeah, and I mean, just my theory on the justification for using conservation, even though we don't own the whole pond, is that, we own part of the pond and we're damaging the wildlife resource. You go pulling water bodies out too early, turtles can't adapt, other salamanders and, whatever's in there becomes vulnerable and turns into a mud flat, and it's still cold out. So I think it's, it's justified. And it's funny, I was talking to a buddy, that works for, think they're gonna be more expensive, I'm like, well, if they go out there and do it once, versus you guys having to go out there and do it,
Yeah.
you know, however many times, hopefully it works.
Alright, I know what USDA stands for, but what does, you say APHIS, is that AFIS?
Hang on. Used to be Wildlife Services, it's a lot easier, but,
Mhm.
And purchasing policy doesn't apply here, cause it's less,
I would hope with a federal agency that that's their deal, so it's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service.
okay, so like an aphid, with an F.
Yeah, so it's APHIS, APHIS, formerly Wildlife Services. I guess Wildlife Services is still a branch under that, so it's APHIS then Wildlife Services. I mean, common sense would lead you to think you wouldn't worry about the purchasing policy if you're doing an agreement with a agency that's tasked with dealing with that kind of thing.
Right.
What was the deal on the purchasing policy, remember, what didn't they increase that a little bit?
Yeah, to $5 grand,
Okay, so then it's,
So,
yeah,
nice.
went to $5 grand.
So it seems like we could authorize the funding and then next step would be run the idea by, or do we even need to run it by anybody, such as selectmen or NBAC? I suppose if there's trapping being done, there's some chance of that would be done proximal to NBAC property.
No, Nick won't do that without getting the permission, he'll go over
So
on our
that-
piece.
That would be a second step that, APHIS would make. Before they do anything, you're saying they would,
Yeah, they can't trap them, they can't enter private land without permission.
you're right, I'm wondering whether they want permission or whether they could do all their work from town land.
I can talk to Nick and see what he thinks, and just tell him, just go ahead and contact, you know, probably better off having them contact.
Yeah.
um,
And, all right, so as I envision this, we authorize, but then we inform the selectmen and receive consent before any contractual arrangements are made.
They're gonna have to sign the agreement, yeah, just tell them, we're
So we-
planning on funding the agreement for $3 grand with USDA, APHIS Wildlife Services, to take care of the duck pond problem.
Right.
And we think this is a good use of conservation, it gets the public works folks doing road work and not messing with beavers,
Gets them off the hook.
yeah,
Right.
and we, you know, it's a good thing to do biologically, half the ponds are, it's good management.
Why do we need to do the trapping if the structure does so with the water level control?
You kinda thin them down, so like Nick said, I mean, that's a big area down there, so it's, you know, those things can fail, they can eventually pile enough stuff on
Yeah,
there over the years.
I'll surround it and plug it up.
Yeah, I mean, they'll put it probably pretty far out, I don't know like what the depth profile is in front of that.
I was thinking about that, driving down today. Just that point, I don't know. I mean, you call a duck pond, doesn't tell you anything.
So,
But I don't know of any kettle holes in town.
it's not very deep,
I
I mean,
don't think
it's a
it's-
stream
Right,
cove,
I don't think it's,
When they knock the dam down, it's the height of the dam.
yeah, it turns
You
into.
gotta go
mud
quite a
pond.
ways out before it
Right.
started to drop down.
yeah.
Yeah. But, we don't have to trap it, usually they, you know, in dealing with them, they like to kinda thin the herd a little bit at the same time that they're doing that.
Kinda have to, cause they will just keep multiplying.
All right, thanks for the discussion. Any other thoughts on the motion on the table? There being none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor. Okay,
So you wanna shoot the Board of Selectmen an email?
Yeah.
And as soon as they say okay, or whatever their step is, you know, we would just put the person that's got the agreement in touch with whoever at the town wants to receive the agreement.
right, right.
You know, as the agents to expend, just in case this doesn't go another meeting, I'll make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign an agreement with USDA APHIS for up to $3,000.
With that pond, water over problem.
Yeah.
I'll
I'll
second that.
second it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, just in case.
All right. We don't have a parliamentarian, but can we, attach that as an amendment to the motion just made and approved?
Yeah, what was it, as,
Just to authorize.
as,
And authorize the
With the
chair.
agents to expend.
well, no, but, what, was it Salem who said the easier way to, if someone says something and you want it to be a motion, so moved?
Oh. Yeah.
All right, and that was Steve and,
Yeah, I'll need a second.
we'll do it this way. All in favor of the amendment to the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, and while we're on topic, land monitor up by Farren Pond for, the Conservancy, sent a picture along saying, showing that, beaver have been at work up there in the outlet to Farren, raising the pond level. And have had some effort to try to, short circuit that. So we've got another spot where the beaver are, bringing up water levels. Anybody, did that get around to everybody? Everybody see that? So,
Makes me wonder if the canoe just floated away, cause in his email he said the beach was under 7
Mhm.
feet or whatever.
right. So I'm trying to figure out whether we have responsibility to a particular water level there, or desire to, bring that down.
So that was a few weeks ago. He said we should let the water level drop for a few weeks and then go back out to check on it and make sure the outflow isn't blocked again. I'd be happy to just swing by and look at it. And report on how it's looking.
Probably would have gone down in the rain we had.
Sounds like a good idea.
Would be good if you could do that.
Yeah, I can, he mentioned some trash. I'm happy to go there with the trash bag and do some cleanup. If it's still high, yeah, I guess the question is, do we want to get out there with chainsaws?
Yeah, I don't think they said anything about beaver, did they? Just a tree.
Might not have said that word, I might have assumed that. I don't know a lot of places where a tree could fall and bring a pond level up by a couple feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kinda wonder about that. looking at.
Yeah, you can go check it out.
Yeah, I get to. Report from conservation, beaver and ware are on a tear, damming up everything this year. Speaking of on a tear, Mark knows about this one. Watch out for deer. Wow. My daughter got slammed by one driving, actually just past Mark's place yesterday about 6.
Oh, no.
Just crumpled the passenger side quarter panel and bounced off the door, leaving hair along it. And
Oh my god.
That'd be a decent sized deer.
yeah, Rebecca said it was a big one. And it continued its way and bounded across, moving from the Walton Field side over to the west side of 114.
And
Well, it kept going.
I haven't done it in
but-
Boston too, I've seen a lot more than I have in the past, just driving at night down there.
Yeah. So, watch out, and fortunately, my daughter was okay, and she loved it.
Yeah.
It's an ugly sight, isn't it? My daughter's baby, she's kinda like the fifth driver on it, and feels horrible, because it's an old car that had been in, body-wise in real good shape, and now it's, looking a wreck.
Yeah.
But number one, she's okay, and somewhere down the list, at least the animal was able to get off the road.
Yeah.
They can be pretty tough sometimes. So hopefully. And brings a question, maybe you can answer this, Steve. How much antler would show up on a buck this time of year around here? Would it be more than just a few inches? Yeah, it's pretty early still. But my daughter thought she recognized a rack, and I'm like, I don't think there'd be much yet. I couldn't quite figure it out, doing some research. All right, so, thank you, Zuzu, for volunteering, a little bit of a look around up there to see what you see, so that we can consider it further. Stay safe, I worry about, it doesn't look like much, I'll just pull this out of the way. and
Oh,
then,
yeah.
Wait a minute, my foot is stuck, and there's
Yeah.
a bunch of water coming by, and this isn't very fun,
Yeah.
so careful.
I can't get to my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, we had Steve and Zuzu and myself, former selectman Bloom, and one of my daughters and one of his daughters, did a field visit over to Barden. We looked around, stomped around, looked at things, and, didn't have a quorum, so it wasn't a meeting, but had some good weather and a chance to look around there with some, able to formulate some ideas on what we could do for trails. Any thoughts on that, Steve?
On the trails?
Yeah, on the Barden, what we found out there and what might make sense,
Good.
at least to talk to Jeremy about, as he's also planning a harvest in that area.
I think we just clean those two existing roads up and, just put a cross trail in to connect them up.
Yeah, but I guess, it's a question to Jeremy, how soon he's envisioning a harvest there. If it's worth doing some cleanup sooner, or just waiting and wrapping it in with the harvest.
Right. And the connector would be along, probably that, it's on that deer trail over there,
Yeah.
lower down
Yeah,
on the Esker.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
We also looked at the brook there. And it'd be a neat,
Yeah.
little bit of work, but it'd be
Yeah.
a neat spot to bridge eventually if we're wanting to extend trail over to the, west side of the brook. But, vision, maybe someday, going further across town property towards, Chipmunk Falls. I think it's on the map there, it's Dustin Brook.
So plan on talking to Jer about that, I guess, next update.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he'll key in on land features like that as part of the harvest planning. It would seem likely that, the old Woods Road, would be, skid trails. Alright, I, did see the invoice, it's at $700 from Conservation Fund.
Yeah, and Naomi got it as well, so it sounded like it was all set. I came in and we did it with her credit card, and she gets everything that goes to conservation. And Beth knew that the money was supposed to come from conservation.
So that's,
So I believe it is all set.
Did you download like a trial version?
I started with the trial, yeah,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, just got so it's all set, it's on the computer now.
Cool.
There's the other little map that I sent this afternoon.
alright, so that's all paid, good. And, let's see,
So to get the data off the old computer, so do we end up getting the external hard drive with that computer?
There is one in here, I believe.
Okay.
I didn't touch it or.
so are you saying we've got a new computer?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's right here.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
Okay,
see.
see what happens when you're taking a photo
Yeah,
out?
there's, yeah. Yes, an external hard drive.
How big is it?
2 terabytes?
Nothing else.
Alright, and so has that been paid for? As far as you
Yeah.
know, okay.
That's all set.
so we just gotta pull the data off the old one, and get it on, probably that's the easiest thing, we just put it on the external hard drive and then pull it back over.
Yeah, I've got the bag, I don't have the computer on me right this second, but, I can coordinate with you at some point if you're ready to do that, just give a
Sure.
shout. and-
Yeah.
or I can drop it off here, you can pick it up here, you can come by my place.
You can just come pick it up. I don't think I have your number, Andy.
Sure. That's when you're ready.
You want the whole town to have that?
Yes.
Sure.
Maybe write it down and pass it over.
If you want, you can just email it to me or something. But yes, I can just pick it up from you.
I did print the first map that Zuzu sent along.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I had to get data
That
from
was a
CAI.
quick see, not to speak for you, but it looks like hey, let's see whether we can shoot something over before meeting.
Yeah, pretty much.
On that, what's making the distinction between, town-owned and conservation
So,
at that
yeah,
first cut?
I had to get the data from CAI, which runs the Access GIS. And it wasn't sent, because I was looking for parcels with ownership data, which they don't have at the state. There's like Granite GIS clearinghouse kind of thing, and they have parcels, but there's no owner, it's just polygons essentially. So she sent over this big database file, and there was a table
there were parcels, but there was still no ownership, and I found a table and I joined it, and so I think it all matches up, but it was just anything with where, comma, town of as the owner. And then there's conservation land is owned by town of Ware, and then also Conservation Commission or town forests conservation. Sort of, there's two languages used.
So that, what was shown on that comes out of the, essentially the state data repository?
No, it came from CAI, which does for the town, does all the mapping. And
Alright, I've noticed that some of the property cards for our conservation properties list under owner conservation commission and some don't,
Uh-huh,
with really no rhyme or reason why one's listed one way and one's listed another way.
So I've got the spreadsheet with all the parcel information, plus, you probably get in touch with Jeremy and have them give you whatever they have as well, just
Okay.
to see how it lines up. So you can just email them,
yeah.
probably just authorize a couple hours of their time out of,
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like that seems like probably overkill, I mean,
no, we should get their data though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got it, just to have it.
cause I'm assuming we wanna maintain also a map of just the properties that we're managing with some relevant management status information.
So a lot of that's already done, I
Okay.
think, so if you get in touch with Laura,
Yeah.
there's probably like a GIS online account.
Uh-huh,
I'm not sure, you know, how you can share back and forth, but that's
Yeah.
why I was saying, if you have time, she's got like a couple hours just to talk and to see how we can efficiently
yeah,
share that data.
okay.
So we,
Yeah, make a motion if you want.
yeah, just to make a motion.
make
to
sure we have it
authorize
covered.
like, just authorize up to 5 hours on the, hourly for GIS analyst from Meadows End to share the data with us. And go over setting it up so that both systems are talking to Steve. That's out of town forest.
Something to consider also, Naomi had mentioned that, CAI can set up a, like, private map, so there's the Access GIS where you can look at all the town parcels. She said they had them make one for the snowmobile club, and so it's like you have private login information.
Right.
And you can look at relevant information. Do you know if you log in, is it editable? Like, can you change
No.
any? No, okay, so,
No, they went ahead and did an overlay
yeah,
of our trail system but it's using the exact town map,
yeah, so
so
like
it's
you can
pretty accurate.
contact the butters,
Yeah.
she said, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. If it was editable, I was gonna say that would sort of supersede the need for GIS, but if it's not, then,
No,
um,
they did it for, at a charge.
yeah,
They
she said
prepare
it was
that
like
for us.
$700, yeah.
You know, ideally, if they're, you know, if they have a GIS server location that you can get the login account to be able, you know, you don't need editing, but just to pull that whole thing and to be able to look at it, with, you know, Pro open,
Mm-hmm.
or if they got anything like that.
If CAI does?
Yeah, so instead of.
So
trying-
yeah, I guess they send annually to the town everything that they have, and that's basically what she forwarded me. So every year they update parcels, but it's like it's a lot of information. It's all the previous years. So my assumption is because that's the way they do it, they send an annual email with all the data. They probably don't maintain a online thing that towns can access, but
But I mean, they've got one, right? Because when you go in at the webpage,
yeah,
it's got that GIS front to it,
yeah.
so that's all somewhere.
Yeah, but that's their, that's not ArcGIS Online, that's their Access GIS thing.
Right.
But all that is what she sent, is what she sent me, the woman from CAI that I spoke with.
Right, so like, what's the background on that AccessGIS? Is that a,
They definitely use Arc Pro. Cause what she sent me was a database file for Arc Pro. So yeah, I'm not sure how they then turned it into their AccessGIS thing.
right, so I mean, if they just have like that geodatabase sitting on a, I mean, if you could get into a server.
Yeah.
Give you an address.
Yeah. Yeah, I can, ask if that's she did not bring that up, but I can ask if that's a possibility.
Cause then that would always be up to date.
Updating constantly,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about that, like as things are purchased and ownership changes hands. It'll be
It's
a
been
pain to,
Remarkable how glitch-free their public-facing side has been on that GIS viewer.
Really handy. Cause remember we used to like deal with that place up in Wilson, the tax maps.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah. The first pass. Andrea was looking at things. All right, so a little neglectful. We've had discussion here, but I didn't get a second on Steve's motion for authorizing up to 5
Second.
hours for GIS work at Meadows End
From the town forest count.
from the town force account, right? All right, any other thoughts on this one? Going to the motion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All in favor. Next one, under other business, is just a FYI. It looked like Naomi took that one over, and I don't have anything more for it. Does anybody else have any questions on it?
Yeah, I mean, so we didn't really get to talk about it, and she kinda did that, which I don't
Right.
disagree with, but I think it's the guy's wording that, you know, we can't do business by email, right? So, there was actually a pretty recent article in the Bangor Daily News about this very topic. You know, like, lots of remote ponds have people drag their canoes out there and leave them, you know,
Right.
supposedly for anybody to use, so I mean, obviously the town's not gonna accept a canoe for all those liability reasons that Naomi's saying, but like you know, our problem is, I think we don't have the ability to make any rules one way or the other, whether it comes to tree stands or, you know, thankfully the state just updated the tree stand law, so that's less of a fiasco. But-
Yeah, we ran into this same with Lincoln.
Yeah, right, so I mean, we don't, you know, if you choose to drag a canoe out there and leave it, we're kinda faced with this conundrum, like, can we just trash it or not, or is that good, bad, or indifferent? So I don't know if we want.
I think we probably would have, as property owner, you know, every right to do that, but at the same time, if we're not, you know, advertising as a service, we're not collecting any fee, I don't see how such being there and being used by folks comes back to us.
Well, it's not ours, yeah, I mean, we're not authorizing it,
Right.
so what I'm saying is like, are we, sort of the opposite of that, we're not really prohibiting it either. I think the
Yeah,
guy just
we're-
worded it wrong, like, the town's not gonna own it.
yeah. Is it
But we're
worth,
not giving
Well,
them permission either.
I
Right,
think,
exactly.
I think he would prefer having permission.
Right,
Yeah,
which
but
we're not.
we can't do that.
Right,
so.
yeah.
At the same time, we're not gatekeepers.
Correct, we're not,
But these things kind of turned into trash at some point, it seems like, you know, there was.
Well,
another one
before,
up
yeah,
there.
I think there was an old sunfish up there years ago. I think we took something that was rotting out. That was a pretty good haul at one point.
And that becomes the issue, that's what that whole point of that article in the Bangor Daily was, that, you know, just like showing a picture of 4 canoes out in the woods next to a pond.
So, I mean,
full of
the
leaves
official
and crap.
point is we don't authorize,
Right.
we don't accept, and just leave it at that.
And we may trash a canoe if we leave it there, but might not. Depends if it turns to trash,
Right.
you know.
I mean, you could see it be handled another way, someone saying, you know, basically, this is my canoe, I am maintaining ownership of it, can I leave it on your property?
no,
Right, and that's what we haven't discussed.
Right, well, yeah, but it's no.
Yeah.
Because now you're giving him permission. And then if he leaves it there and someone else uses it and drowns, we could be held at fault for that as well, cause we allowed the commission to have it there. So it's one of the things, we can't be complicit in it at all. If it's there, we don't know about it, not our issue.
Yeah, so I think the thing you're saying is if you leave it there with the intent of sharing, I mean, someone could ask, can I bring my canoe up there and lock it to a tree?
Mm-hmm.
No,
You know?
can't.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, right, yeah, but I mean,
Once you open the door, it puts us in a position that we don't wanna be in. But if we don't know about it, we're not complicit in it, something happens, I don't see how we're held liable at it.
right. Yeah, I mean, you're pretty well protected by the liability law. Anyhow, that's probably.
That's more than enough for me, folks. By the way, swimming, it's a little dangerous, so if you don't know how to swim, don't go swimming,
Exactly.
please. All right, this one came through on some training, at least part of it was no cost. Cooperative Extension does a lot of good training. This one's on conservation easements, if folks are interested, jump on. I just sent another one along today on prime wetlands. It's a field training coming up, this spring. And it looked like it also might have been a no-cost one, so. Opportunities for training when they come by me, I'll let you know about them. Anybody, finds them interesting, wanna jump on, great. We used to have some sort of, a little bit of a training budget. I don't think we do any longer. But if somebody wanted to attend something, specifically that cost a few dollars and wanted some assistance, we could consider that too. Out of conservation fund, for sure. Let's see, there did take care of Sarah. Just after last meeting, Naomi sent an email around at the request of the selectmen. Just FYI, right to know is real, educate yourself, so if anybody has questions about that, concerns, talk to us, otherwise just know that there is a right to know. And hopefully we don't get flung down that flight of stairs again. But we've been good for a while and we'll do the right thing, which makes it really a non-concern.
Nice having town email
You had to battle for years for that, Steve.
that.
It
Remember,
was
I said,
so,
I'm like, this is gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
oh,
It happened.
right.
Brutal.
So, yeah, just a reminder on the email, town stuff, don't use it for other stuff. Besides that, it's a good tool. We already spoke with Steve. We have no liaison again. I don't know where that's gonna go, so stay tuned. I haven't heard anything official from selectmen. Anything else?
This would be a record for you.
It might be. Awfully close. Yeah, look, wow, that's what you guys did last month, so. All right, if we don't have anything, go for it. What's that? All right, so Camacho does a motion, who seconded?
Second.
Phillips.
You know, it's a set for him. My record's.
All right, all in favor of adjourning at 8:32, say aye.
Hi.
Flip the
Steve saved
switch.
the record, it was what, 28 minutes?
Something like that.